Mid-August, I set off for Yunnan. In mid-August, I embarked on a journey to Yunnan. My exploration area this time was the Gaoligang Mountains of the Jiangxi region. The first stop was the alpine tropical rainforest along the southern route of the mountain range. This region contains the thickest and most intact tropical rainforests in southwest China. It also serves as a transition zone between China's southwestern ecosystems and the ecosystems of South Asia. A truly magical land. In these mist-covered forests, countless rare and unique species thrive, and nearly every year, new previously undocumented species are discovered. Some mysterious species, however, have only been seen once before disappearing forever from human sight. Upon arrival at night, I didn't rest and immediately began exploring. As dusk fell, the temperature dropped and humidity started to rise sharply. Some of the native creatures that hid during the day began to emerge. The first species I encountered was a dark-colored amphibian with a smooth brownish-black body. This was the brown-black stream frog, a nationally protected species, Category 2. This amphibian, belonging to the Ranidae family, primarily inhabits montane rainforests in western Yunnan at altitudes of 1,000 to 2,000 meters. It is commonly found in wetlands, semi-swampy streams, and seasonal waterholes. Preferring to burrow into mud crevices, rock fissures, or thick leaf litter, it remains hidden most of the time. It becomes active at temperatures above 15 degrees Celsius, feeding on insects and mollusks. The coloration of the brown-black stream frog varies significantly. Not all individuals exhibit the black-brown hues suggested by their name. Even within the same environment, individuals can display drastically different color patterns. For example, the one I observed had yellowish tinges near its tail, with an overall metallic sheen resembling iron-coated gold. These frogs typically reside in humid forest undergrowth, among fallen leaves, moss, and rich, decomposing matter. During the rainy season, they gather in forest pools to breed. Although it was no longer breeding season, I still found a few adult brown-black stream frogs near water sources, suggesting that their population in this region remains relatively healthy. Not long after, I discovered another individual beneath the leaf litter. Unlike the previous two, this one had a completely brown-yellow hue. Predation in the night later, near another stream, I witnessed an interesting scene. A giant earthworm which had fallen from a cliffside into the water was being eaten by a long-chunned, big-headed frog. The earthworm was exceptionally large and tough, and the frog's mouth structure prevented it from biting the worm into pieces. Struggling to consume it whole, the frog kept attempting to gulp it down. During my exploration, I also noticed a peculiar leaf-mimicking cockroach. When people think of cockroaches, they often associate them with filth and disgust. However, this species, Keller's glowroach, and its relatives in the same genus, are entirely different from common household cockroaches. These cockroaches prefer to inhabit pristine, ecologically rich mountain forests and are rarely observed. Encounters with frogs and snakes near the water's edge, I spotted many Shiyu pool frogs of various sizes. This species is a landmark amphibian of the western Yunnan border region, only found in certain mountain streams along the border. In China, it is exclusively distributed in the southern Gaoligang Mountains of Yunnan and the Motuo region of Tibet. As the night deepened, intermittent orographic rainfall began to fall in the mountains. Western Yunnan, influenced by South Asian monsoons, experiences highly unpredictable weather. The cold, misty mountain rain makes the environment even more humid and chilly. However, some snakes prefer to be active in such conditions. One of them was the double-ringed white-banded snake, a non-venomous member of the Colobridae family. The white-banded snakes are well known. Common species like the red-banded snake and yellow-banded snake belong to the same group. However, the double-ringed white-banded snake is particularly variable in coloration. While the previous individual I encountered was orange-red, this one was pink. As I moved through the terrain, a green snake slithered past my feet. I immediately recognized it. It was a Popao green pit viper from western Yunnan. Previously classified as a new species, Yinjing green pit viper, it has since been merged into the Popao green pit viper group. Initially, the western Yunnan population of Popao green pit vipers was thought to be distinct from those found in Myanmar. However, molecular biology studies have revealed their true identity. Even though the name Yinjing green pit viper is now invalid, its distinct local characteristics still make it a fascinating population. This species exhibits a beautiful bluish sheen on its scales. The individual I observed was not the most striking example, but it was still stunning. Previously, a different species, initially thought to be Poguo green pit viper, was later reclassified as a new species within the Paramesotriton genus and named Lana pit viper, after the Lana ethnic group of northern Thailand. A giant pit viper. Late at night, I encountered a massive green pit viper, a member of the Paramesotriton genus. Its enormous size was astonishing. Only 5 species in China can reach such proportions. Based on its orange eyes and tail markings, I identified it as Simian pit viper, a species discovered in 2019 in the Galagong Mountains. Previously, I had encountered several Simian pit vipers, but none as large as this one. The individuals I had seen before were all males, which are typically much smaller. Only females can grow to such impressive sizes with large, robust heads. While these giant green pit vipers are magnificent creatures, they are also extremely dangerous. Their sheer size gives them a greater striking range and a higher venom yield. Large green pit vipers can only thrive in exceptionally well-preserved ecosystems. The last time I encountered such a large viper, it was either a Lana pit viper or a Sichuan Huabu pit viper. Most green pit vipers in China have a similar bright green coloration, making identification challenging without close examination of distinguishing features. The Simian pit viper is recognizable by the red stripe running along the middle of its tail's underside, which is the origin of its name. However, handling a venomous snake while simultaneously taking photos and explaining its features would have been too risky, so I could only describe its characteristics verbally. Conclusion. As dawn broke, a steady drizzle continued in the mountains. Having spent a long and exhausting night exploring, I decided to descend the mountain to rest and prepare for the next, more physically demanding phase of my journey,